Hi, this is Danny Rams from Maverick Spirit Astrology. I'm just going to go in through a couple of things. I was going to type it up, but this is like really important, so I kind of just decided to do the horoscopes through video because it's going to be easier for me because there's so much information. I'm going to be talking about Mercury in Aquarius and Venus in Capricorn. So what we have is Aquarius energy right now is going to be Aquarius energy means that there's like this long journey that they take to go fetch water from the well. They're taking this long journey to go provide for their community, and they're doing it alone. And so what they do have time is time to think, and they kind of keep everything in that way. Aquarius suns especially, they might not know how to have you understand what they feel, because when they feel pretty deeply. And a lot of people are like, no, air signs are so detached, like especially Aquarius. No, they're not detached. They're actually, what they are detached from is remembering to speak with their mouths instead of like, they think that you like they are very telepathic. So what happens is they think they're communicating to you, but they're really not. But this is like a futuristic way of speaking anyways. So this is very Aquarius. Wherever you have your Aquarian house is kind of where you stand out in that theme. So Aquarius in Mercury. So what is Mercury? Mercury travels to hell and back to give us these messages from the other side, behind the veil or beyond the veil or from the great beyond, whatever you feel comfortable with. So the thing is about Mercury is that it's very fast. It acts very fast, but we're going to have all this retrograded energy in all the air signs, and air signs are all about communication, communication with others, communication with self, communication with their community and the way that they think, intelligence as well. So Aquarius is the mind builder and Mercury is the planner, and it is somewhat of a trickster. So especially with retrograded energy coming up, right? So I really want you to grasp what Mercury in Aquarius feels like for you, because it's going to go into retrograde and things are going to start slowing down. We already have Mars in Taurus energy that's making us feel like things are going to be a little crazy, because everything is about self-worth, values, and virtues in the action plan right now. And people are going to see the bull crap that they are going to see in other people right now. And that's something that's going to happen till March. So get used to it. It's going to happen. We're going to be seeing a lot of interesting things. With the plans of retrieval from the messages of the future is basically what I picked as a theme for the Aquarius and Mercury energy. And Aquarius is you really just want to pay attention to where Aquarius is in the houses. Again, it's kind of where you want to set your themes. So the first house and seventh house, communication, yes, even via text messaging. Make sure that you're communicating the messages directly, like they understand you and what you meant. It could become very important for you to communicate, even if it's via text, what you meant. And for the fourth house and the 10th house, your home and job might actually experience some internet interference, or there might be some upgrading that is due. So making the best of your quiet time while the interference is happening is something that you might want to look forward to. So clear your mind and kind of embrace that Aquarian thought process. The second and eighth house, you want to look to other people to correctly understand that you said what you meant. And this is a little bit different than the first and seventh house, where you're just like, I directly meant this. So with the second and eighth house, you're actually going to have to be practicing patience with people, because they're not, for some reason, going to grasp what you're saying, because you might be saying it in an Aquarian way. So you might be speaking of futuristic things. This is like a powerhouse, and other people have a lot to do with this house as well. but it also has to do with like the bare naked truth of who you are, your self-worth, your values, and the values that other people put into you. So whenever this comes to a mundane earth crap, we're always talking about money. Okay. So you need to be very patient with people and make sure that they're understanding you, and be very, very patient, because you need to be cleared on both ends. And that's why it's so important for the 2nd and 8th house versus the 1st and 7th. Like, that's partnerships. If you guys can't handle your partnerships, I don't know what you're doing in a partnership in the first place, right? So the 3rd and 9th house, they kind of experience ways of communication that has always been like a skill, a God-given skill, or like something that's like a task. It's always felt like a task, like, oh my gosh, I have to learn this. Like, now I have to learn this again. And perhaps it's time to reach out to people who might not grasp the same skill set that you have, or perhaps asking someone, because you want to look at the 9th house too, maybe asking someone to can you make me a little bit wiser here? Like, I am not dumb, but I can't get this program working correctly. Like, can you help me out here? Stuff like that might happen with the 3rd and 9th house energies. I know that's already happened to me, and it's not even Mercury and Aquarius, but this has literally been my week where I kind of feel the energies before. Yeah. Yeah. So the 5th and 11th house is with the Mercury and Aquarius, joy and vulnerability, and it's also our future selves. So Mercury in these houses will feel like you want to communicate your freedom of speech with no apologies attitude, right? So perhaps while it's in retrograde, you might be apologizing. I was thinking that you might have to learn how to say I'm sorry. Like, that might be a struggle for you. But to actually learn how to say, I am sorry, I didn't mean that. You are going to be the one with the silver tongue right now when it has to do with Mercury in retrograde with the 5th and the 11th, because this is like a joy and vulnerability, but it's also like our children and who we talk to and our joys, our hobbies, right? But this is like a silver tongue type of a thing. When you have the attitude with no apologies, you're not going to get far anyway. So that's just my advice. Take it, leave it, whatever resonates with you. Disclaimer. So you want to make sure, again, that everything is very clear and that you apologize, so you can have a better future, so you can have a lighter joy to you, because these vulnerable moments come from the joy, right? That's what she said. So the 6th and 12th house for Mercury and Aquarius, day to day and night to night, listen to the universe, give faith and try harder. Because when all may feel lost, you are actually able to create a way of communicating. As long as you think that there is a will, there is a way, there is always going to be a way for you guys. There's a lot of aspects to Mercury this month. Let's talk about the harder aspects. So we have Mercury squared Mars again. We're also going to have a square to Uranus eventually. Not right away, but it will. And Uranus is known for the revolutionary Aquarius. It's the ruler, right? So we have Uranus right now in Taurus, who squares Aquarius energy. And by a square, I mean that it might feel like a teeter-totter or a decision needs to be made. This is going to have to do with the body and the mind's builders, the stability, the concrete of you, of your mind, of your body. So this is a physical, and this is a thought process of like your abilities to move forward are going to be slow and steady, but also futuristic. I don't know what that means either. I'm sorry. Like, I can't get down to the basic without looking at your guys' charts. So sorry. That's what I have as the collective idea for you guys. So in the Aquarius house, no matter what house it is, it's going to be your mindset. How you communicate to others is Mercury. What you think about is all. It's all going to be about your own mind. But again, it's going to be how you communicate to others. The thing is that you want to be different in any of your Aquarius houses. This is where you want to be different, or that you know that you're different. It's also like an energy where you always knew you were different, but also you're not ashamed of it. It's not something to be shameful of. So there was always like some type of a battle with an Aquarius. So it's almost like you yourself in your Aquarius house can always discover how others might not have their own sense of humanity. This is always going to be like your house representing what? What about me? What am I different? In the first house, it's your self-awareness. You know you're the oddball in the room. It's not something you're to be ashamed about, right? So the second house is self-worth, virtues and values. I might think a little differently. I might be a little differently, and I might think futuristically, but also that could be a third house energy as well. But in the third house, you are tech savvy. You have a whole bunch of things going for you as far as futuristic levels. You're able to like get on to tech things right away and like you were born doing it, right? The fourth house energy is roots. This is where you came from and where you will go. You might have felt like the black sheep of the family. You might have been the black sheep of the family for a very long time. I have Aquarius in the fourth house. Fifth house Aquarius might make you feel the joy and vulnerability of future. The kids might feel different. Your kids might be different. Your activities and what you love to do, your hobbies and crafts, they might be different. I won't get into specifics about how exactly different they can be. The sixth house Aquarius energy is going to make you feel like you're different in your routine. Like you have a different routine from everybody else. The seventh house is you love exotic people. And people love the exoticness of you. The one that sets you different. The one that you are different from, but also like that's what they love about you. And then the eighth house energy is going to be you do things differently when you're in a relationship than when you're single completely. I'm going to leave it at that. That's all I'm going to leave it at. The ninth house is that you really love to journey. You love long travel. You love going to exotic places. You love learning new things, but you also enjoy the humanitarian work that goes into that. The 10th house Aquarius is something of a tech savvy person who's usually somebody who can get into computer work right away again. But at this level, you're becoming the boss because you're at the 10th house. The 11th house Aquarian is going to be someone whose future self feels very futuristic, might feel like the seed of themselves is in the future and that they don't belong here in this time. Maybe they are even someone who acts older than they actually are, or are more giving on a different level. And then the 12th house Aquarius makes me feel like you might feel that you have to try so hard to fit in, even when you don't. Your empathy becomes your humanity. Your self-undoing and your self-enlightenment might have came from some type of discouragement that you yourself needed to realize that it was more emotional than it was physical, and you might have made it physical. These are like air signs mixed with like water, the air and water, how the bubbles go. They have to float up to the top. This is very much an Aquarian in the 12th house energy. Hold on one moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. So Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn and Jupiter. And I know I just got through the houses really quick, but I really like the Aquarian in all of us. I really do enjoy it all. So again, with aspects, it's going to conjunct Saturn. It's going to conjunct Jupiter this month. And it will eventually be in the sun. Sun sign is going to be later this month as well. It's eventually going to be in Venus as well. So remember that your Aquarius houses right now already have Saturn and Jupiter in there. They have just freshly entered. They move slower than Mercury. They are more of an outer generational planet. But this is also something that's going to happen for the next 2 years. So it's going to be in this house for the next 2 years. You have to learn how to play with these energies properly, because you can achieve and grow and expand and become wise in the future self if you do it correctly, if you play up the right high notes, the high vibrational frequencies versus looking at the low notes. I feel like this energy and getting into the age of Aquarius, like we're really getting rid of some baggage of the past and we're cleaning slates. We're going to stomp everything down first, of course. There's a lot of things that just didn't work last year, and not even going to get into it. But I know that moving on forward, it's not going to be the end of it either. Like, this is literally the beginning of it. Like, last year we began a movement, and this year, I don't know, but I know that it's going to continue, and it's going to be extremes from each way till we realize that by this polarizing energy that we're actually becoming extremists instead of living in the middle and meeting each other halfway. That's something that we do have to learn through this Aquarian energy, is meeting people halfway. It's a very long, lonely road. Venus and Capricorn. Venus and Capricorn. We're almost cleared of Capricorn energy, except for Pluto is going to be in Capricorn for a couple more years. So Pluto is saying, I empower your achievements, but this is also the death and rebirth of some achievements. So things that are going to fall and some things that are going to rise from the fall. Venus says, I love, and it loves the Capricorn energy because there's an achievement or advancements here. So, the advance is like what you love in your hobbies, ideas, people, like things that you love. This isn't just going to be about another person. It could also be very much about self-love, but it could also be, when it's in Capricorn, it's I achieve. I love, I achieve, and I respect. I give respect. It's a very faithful Venus sign. By meaning faithful, I mean they are faithful to Capricorn is not known for being a cheater, but also they're not known for taking crap either. So I'm going to leave that at that. So right now, we might feel like we're on a little bit of a hold, right? Because we've been in Sagittarius Venus energy, which is very uplifting and high vibe, low vibe. It could be a fire, like the fire signs are very like, oh, but then like, oh, it's magic, and then it's gone, blown out, right? So then when we go into the earth sign, we're cooling it down, right? Now we take a deep breath and we have to reflect. We're needing to reflect on how far have we come? Where are we going? You're going to be known during this time for your self-love. Like, people are actually going to notice how you take care of yourself. They're going to notice or admire your achievements. They're also going to, I put that people will outwardly admire you for your self-love as a big, like, because it's Venus. Venus is all about luxury. It's all about love. It's all about partnerships, but it's also about like the self-worth of the partnership too. So when you put it into Capricorn's like, I'm going to achieve the highest mountains trophy in love. Like, that's just how it happens. So I put that you need to ground yourself in self-respect as well. So the 1st and 7th houses, you yourself and you through your partnerships are going to have more of a respect for each other during this time. 4th and 10th houses, I put home love and outer energy. People will love and respect you for just being you, but also respect you for the journey that you took to get and retrieve self-love. The 3rd, 9th, 2nd, 8th, and 5th and 11th, I put you guys all together because this aspect is going to just be almost like the same because it's not on a harsh axis and it's in a mutable, but also like the other fixed signs that are not going to affect you at that moment. They are in fixed houses though. We'll talk about aspects later. So the skill set, community, travels, faith journey, self-worth and value, love what you do, love extra hard, and reward yourself. Using logical thought and philosophy can actually advance your love life right now. Don't be so strategic. Your advancements will be adored about how different you are and how you take into different considerations. People are going to see how much they actually do need you during this time as well. And your love language will become respected by others as they see your own worth in themselves. So the 2nd house does have to do with self-worth. So that's why I was kind of like, let's talk about that. So for the 6th and 12th house, I have the 6th house. I love the body boss. Very physical journey. It's towards like a new routine or new achievements through routine. The 12th house is a spiritual aspect. So this is self-undoing or self-enlightenment. And the thing is that it's opposite the sun, Venus, and Capricorn, right? So we're going to have a little bit of like, you don't want to indulge. I'm sorry, it's not opposite. The sun and Venus in Capricorn is not, it's opposite. The 12th is what I meant. I meant the 6th house is opposite. Sorry. Reading notes. Not doing well. Sorry. So the 6th house is opposite of the 12th house is what I meant. So when you have the sun and Venus in the 6th house, it's going to be different, but the same in the 12th house. When you play the whole field properly, this is a self-undoing or self-enlightenment. And again, it has to do with do not overindulge here. When you have Venus in the 12th house, you can have a little bit more of a self-undoing or self-enlightenment, but the process is always started at like that base level because this is the before we got here house or in the after when we return. So when we go through a Venus going through the 12th house, there can be a little bit of despair or people may be feeling like they're taking advantage of you in a certain aspect, right? So, but I have for you guys that there's nothing in Aries but Chiron healing that's squared to Capricorn's energy right now. This could be healing. This could be a way to heal. This is something that you might need others to help you heal. And that goes for all the houses. Capricorn, is like the respect others have for you on a higher vibrational note. You could also have like the lower vibrational feeling where people will become known for like you might become known for what you do wrong or the way that you do things are incorrect, and they might even gossip about you because Capricorn energy is actually like our achievements, right? So when we put it in the 12th house of the drunken sailor, I have your heart. What am I going to do with it? Like, you want to achieve what? It's not time to achieve. What are you talking about? So you might have people gossiping about you because there's a lot of like envious energy when it comes to Capricorns. So because of that, you do want to look out for that. And then because people can look at your achievements and not even understand how does this person get out of bed in the morning? Like, how does this person walk out of the door every morning knowing blah, blah, blah? That's the type of feel that it's like when you have Venus in your 12th house natally, but also the transit. So not to expect what's expecting from you, because what's going to become from this is infinite opportunities. And that's why it's the drunken sailor taking your heart for a ride. How are you actually able to get to where you're going? That's going to be up to you, because Venus is going to go into Aquarius in your first house. After it's been doing its tour in the 12th house, it's going to go to your first house of self-awareness. So you will have an awakening of some type in that area. Love energy, right? So you need to step outside of yourselves and speak differently. Maybe even try to understand people vibrationally versus actually speaking. And when you feel the lower vibrational people, maybe you just want to walk away from them and not have anything to do with it, because you don't want to dwell in this energy. When people are unfamiliar and enter into a room, you are self-aware of how you speak. And if you are someone who swears a lot, you know in a professional way, like how you handle things when you're professional, right? So I really feel that during this time, this is kind of like how you can show people your own self-respect through becoming a person who can deal with people in a professional level, even though it's not in a professional setting. And this can actually increase the relationships. This is actually a time where Capricorn is all about respect and how you show respect. So when you put the heart here and you're respecting it, you're achieving more. There is nothing more gratifying than having something that is solid and filled with respect. It's kind of like we're meant to take this path, right? And as long as we are steering, because this is a cardinal energy, as long as we're steering and we're in control of what our body is capable of doing, or what our speaking it, because even with Mercury, you want to make sure that with all of these things that are going on, because we are going to have a little bit of aspects that have to do with the Capricorn energy with Pluto. That's something we have to look at too. It's eventually going to be conjunct, and we really have to think about things that we're going to be working on. Right? Hold on one second. Okay, so this is getting pretty long, and I want to cut it shorter. I don't even know if that's going to happen, but I did want to talk about the aspects as far as Venus goes for the rest of the month. Just to get it out of the way, we have a trine to Earth trine to Uranus and Mars. So we now have the body boss saying I love and I am, because we're in Capricorn season. And then you have the trine to the Earth sign Taurus saying I evolve, in retrograded energy right now currently until next week. But then you also have Mars here saying I am the seed, acting as the bodybuilder. So we really have to look at where is the Venus and where is it going to be conjuncting the Pluto. This is going to be a physical thing for us. So we also want to look at that, because that's near the full moon, or on the full moon actually. There's so many words to describe what's actually going on this week, next week, and the week after, and then February I haven't even gotten to. The aspects are ginormous. So if you want your personal horoscope, you can email me at maverickspiritastrology.com. No, maverickspiritastrology@gmail.com. Currently, it will be a .com eventually. I'm just working on all that. And I hope you really enjoyed this message, and I hope you got what you needed from it and resonated with at least some of it. So prepare yourself. January and February, it's all about mind and body, okay? We got this. We got this. We got this. 2021.